listening to all presentations and then making decisions from there. So without further ado, if you'd like to start with case number 23-133.
I'll do the introduction first.
Okay.
The purpose and function of the Jacksonville Beach Special Magistrate Hearing, in accordance with Florida Statutes Chapter 162 and the City of Jacksonville Beach Code of Ordinances, is to reach an equitable expedition to enforce the codes. The city presents the violation and evidence to the special magistrate. Next, the property owner is sworn in and responds to the violation and evidence. Both the city and the property owner may call witnesses to provide sworn testimony relevant to the case. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, not a public forum. Individuals not called as sworn witnesses will not be heard. And I'll swear you in. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and position.
Nikki Beaver, City of Jacksonville Beach Code Enforcement Officer.
Okay.
We're going to skip.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, we have two representatives for two of the cases, so I'm going to skip to those first. So we're going to go to B, case 24-177, Highland Ross Knight. This is at 415 4th Avenue North, and this is in regards to heavy vehicle parking. This case has been a repeat offender. As you can see, Exhibit A, this goes back to 2021. The green bus does not meet the setback requirements. The property was cited on this date. Again, September 21st, 2023, November 7th, 2023, again on March 12th, 2024. I've spoken to the property owners a couple of times when I've cited the property to let them know that the bus has to meet the setback requirements from the property line. I did go and do an inspection on March 26th, 2024, and the bus did meet the setback requirements. So they did. My recommendation today would be for them to remain in compliance or a $250 fine each time.
Thank you. I'd like to hear.
Good morning. Good morning, Magistrate. My name is Carrie McLean. I'm an attorney, but I also am a resident and the owner of that bus. But the bus
Sorry, I'll swear you in.
Oh, sure.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please state your name and address.
My name is Carrie, C-A-R-R-I-E, McLean, M-C-C-L-A-I-N, 415 4th Avenue North, Jacksonville Beach, 32250.
So I would want to know, is this a permanent location for
No,
you?
we take that bus out pretty regularly, and when it is out front or kind of not in the setback, it's because we're trying to work on it, and we can't work on it when it's set back onto the thing. The actual mechanic can't, but we always remedy it within like 24 hours setback, but it travels quite often. We're gone very often. And the bus that was in the original picture with all of the, no, keep going back. Yes, that one, that's not our bus. That's a traveling bus that travels throughout the country. It just happens to be a green bus. But yes, that was on our property visiting. It's a traveling bus throughout the country, but that's not our bus. We just happen to have a green bus as well. You can kind of see that's two buses right next to each other. But that bus does not stay there. The other one, however, that one does reside there, and we keep it there when we're not traveling.
What do you use the bus for?
We take our kids around the country.
Okay. So it's personal use?
Yes,
it's not
ma'am.
a commercial?
Yes, ma'am. It's retitled as an RV.
So I think what I'm most concerned about, Ms. McLean, is the continuous violations.
Yeah.
I don't know that
But as you can see, they're not extruding tremendously out onto the property. It's maybe a foot or two, and then we remedy it before 24 hours. It just happens to be, we live on 4th Avenue, which is a heavily trafficked area, especially by, I'm sure, your officer. That's something she traverses regularly, so it's very easily seen that we're in violation. But it's not regularly, as you can see by the pictures, they're by the year, so they're not like every month. But anytime she's ever asked us that we've had any type of violation, we've moved it immediately.
Is there a reason that you can't park it in such a way that it's in compliance at all times?
Well, sometimes we're working on it. As I described, we're working on it. On the right-hand side, where it's up against the fence line, is where the actual commercial generator is. So in order for the mechanic to work on it, we have to pull it out. And that's where we do. We don't pull it out more than maybe 2 or 3 feet over that property line. So it's not egregious. It's not like we're almost to the street. However, we always remedy it within 24 hours, as I stated.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to say, even in the pictures where it was compliant, the bus is still accessible, where it's accessible, where they can still make repairs, even with it being within the setback requirements.
If I may, the commercial generator is there to the right, under the driver's side right-hand mirror. There is no way to access it unless we pull it out just past that fence line, which is where we always have it when we're sighted, just past that fence line.
What is the commercial generator you're speaking about?
The commercial generator is what runs the bus when it's not plugged in. And be happy to show you a picture. I brought pictures of the bus if you need to see it. But on the right-hand side is where it's a commercial generator that runs the bus when it's not actually plugged into a 30 or 50 amp, when you're traveling and you go to an RV park, you plug in. So it's what actually keeps our refrigerator running and things like that when we're not traveling.
Okay, and I would also like to say for Exhibit A, even though she stated that the bus was not theirs, it still would be considered in violation because it didn't meet the setback. So whether it's this bus or another bus, they still have to meet the setback requirements.
Right. I think as I've said earlier, what I'm concerned about is the numerous violations. And it seems that even if you are having to work on the bus, that you still have to comply with the setback requirements.
And we do. And
Well, apparently,
ma'am,
sounds
if
like
you look at the time frame, it's over the years period. It's not monthly. This one is from 2021. We're in 2024 at this point. When she violated us or set the requirement, we had it moved within 15 minutes. And I do apologize. That is my office line, so I apologize. I thought I had it on mute.
Yeah, we can go.
Just didn't mind. So I understand, and I understand your concern with resources, and I apologize. So we will continue to try to monitor that. It has been fixed, and we remedied that. The issue with the generator, and the bus is pretty much, it's in compliance as your officer has stated, and it's been in compliance since her last violation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
I would ask that the property owner contact me if they need to bring it out. I'm not on that street every day, so if I just happen to be on there and see it or get a complaint, then yes, it will get cited if it's been there more than 24 hours. So if she needs to bring it out, that's when I have a lot of RV owners, heavy vehicle owners. If they're getting ready to go on a trip, they have 24 hours to load and unload. So if they need to bring it out, they can contact me and let me know. So if I do get a complaint, I already have a heads up that they're working on the vehicle or that they're preparing for a trip.
Thank you, Your Honor. We weren't aware of that. I appreciate that information.
Well, suggesting or recommending is that in my order, finding that you're in compliance as of today, but with the additional requirement that you would contact the code enforcement officer, and anytime that you're going to move the bus, that you need to move the bus into the setback area.
Anytime we're encroaching, yes ma'am.
And that it would be prior to doing so.
Yeah.
And that it would be limited to a 24-hour period. And the only other question I've got is whether, and this is directed more, I've heard from you that this doesn't happen very often.
We try not to, that's correct.
And what do you think would be a reasonable number of times within, let's say, a month?
If we're gone,
Well, if you're gone, zero.
zero. I mean, but if when, during the school year, I would say she violated us last year twice, and probably prior to that, and I apologize. Prior to that, I know when this bus was visiting, that was in 2021, but other than that, we try not to violate that. We try to respect our neighbors. They've been our neighbors for 41 years, my great-grandmother's home. So our neighbors to the right, we try to respect them.
So would maybe 3 times per year be an appropriate number?
Oh, absolutely, yes ma'am.
3?
Yeah.
No more than 3 then.
Yes ma'am.
Nikki, does that sound reasonable to you?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So, I will, I'm so sorry.
I have a new phone, I don't know how to work it.
You don't know how to turn it off.
I don't, I'm not an iPhone person.
That's okay. So I will rule that you're in compliance as of today. As no fine will be, is that right?
Correct.
No fine will be attributed, and that we'll set up these new kind of rule, and I think that hopefully with that, with compliance with that, that you won't have to come back.
Yes ma'am, thank you. I appreciate the court's courtesy.
I don't have my cards with me, but on your way out, if you can just stop by City, I'm gonna City Hall, we're in City Hall. The planning department, they have my cards at the front desk, so you can just notify me, and my email address
I
also
have
is
it.
on the.
Yes,
notice.
I have it.
Okay.
Yep, I have it. Thank you, Your Honor. May I just be dismissed?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you,
Alright,
officer.
Thank you. All right, moving to, C, case number 2362, ACA Investments. This is at 412 North 7th Street, Jacksonville Beach. This case is a continuance regarding not obtaining a building permit for a storage, a container that was installed.
Yep.
And as you can see, on the last order, let me see, I believe it stated that everything needed to be completed by today. Mr. Middlebrooks has obtained the permits to have the container moved to a portion of his property. As you can see here, it's in progress, so I'm recommending an additional 60 days to get all the work completed. Mr. Middlebrooks, did you need it?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Chris Middlebrooks, 1012 10th Street North, Jacksonville Beach.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So based on the photograph, Exhibit D, it looks like you are in process.
Yes.
And do you have any questions about the recommendation?
No, I don't think so. I think 60 days should be enough to get the project complete. I know that really within the next 2 weeks, I will have that concrete slab poured and inspected then poured. And I've got 2 different crane operators that will then move the container onto the slab. It may take me more than 60 days because the engineer, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done to the container once it gets moved onto the slab to meet like the 130 mile an hour wind rating. But that should be done in 60 days. It'll be pushing it, but the container will at least be on the slab, on the property, meeting the setbacks and the lot coverage within the next couple of weeks. Then it's just going to be the process of closing out the building permit, doing all of the framing and embracing that is required per the engineer. But I think I can get it done in 60 days.
Will some additional,
definitely shoot for it.
is the city expecting some additional submittals regarding the engineering and the type?
That's all. That was all submitted. So I might have misunderstood. My understanding was that by this meeting, I needed to have the permit and be in the process of getting in compliance, not to be complete, but I might have misunderstood that.
Yeah,
But,
I probably.
okay, gotcha. So, I mean, I've definitely done that, as far as I knew, unless I was misunderstanding. But, like I said, they're pouring the concrete.
Right.
The concrete should be poured, ideally Friday, worst case should be Monday or Tuesday. Let that cure for a few days, and then I'm right now working on a crane to move it. And then it will be, the permit won't be closed out until all of that stuff is done, but it'll be where it's supposed to be. The lot coverage will be under the 35%, and then it's just gonna be a matter of finishing the building it. Okay.
So, for both of you, the other provision dealt with the lot coverage and the pavers. The question was if additional pavers needed to be removed in order to comply with the lot coverage. Has that occurred?
So, Mr. Middlebrooks did remove some of the pavers, but once the container has been moved onto his property and then the inspection is done, the city planner, and Mr. Middlebrooks submits his as-built survey, then we can see and make sure he's within his lot coverage. So for the 60 days, we'll come back and see where we are in that process and then go from there.
Okay, I think that's reasonable. Excuse me.
Within that time, I can go ahead and get my survey. I don't have to wait until the building permit's finalized because the container will already be in its final resting place. So I can get the survey, and if extra pavers have to be removed, I can do that before
Okay.
finalizing the building permit.
Okay, wonderful.
So we'll just come back May 22nd.
Okay, May 22nd, is that our next meeting?
That's 60 days.
Okay, so I'll see you on May 22nd.
All right, thanks.
Thank you,
Alright. And we're gonna jump back to, A, which is case number 23-133.
Okay.
This was, Food Trend Fam Home, address 816 North 16th Avenue. This was in regards to, not obtaining a permit for a deck that was built in the rear of the property. As you can see, the deck was, not within the setback of the property line. Also, like I said, the permit was not obtained for it. The property owner has come into compliance and removed the deck. We can close this case.
Okay.
Alright, moving to D, case number 2346. This is Joseph Benzel, property owner at 1023 North 14th Avenue. This case involved a level 2 renovations without a permit. A stop work order was issued by one of our building officials. property owner J.R. Rushing at 620 South First Street. This is in reference to a building permit not being obtained for an accessory structure that was installed, in the side yard of the property. As you can see, this was the accessory structure, the tenant had built, a portion of the accessory structure has been removed. You can barely see it in the March 12 photo, but this is the remaining part that is still standing.
Could you point to
If you can look right above, right here, on the side of the tree, between the palm and the actual stem of the tree, that's still a portion of the window. That's still a portion of the accessory structure that needs to be removed. So I did speak to Mr. Russian and advise him that if a permit still was not obtained, because the building officials have to inspect what was left, it would have to be removed. He stated that he would remove it.
when did you speak to him?
I spoke with him, it was the latter part of last week. So a lot of construction is going on right there, where the property is located, so I was not able to get an up-to-date photo of, to see if it had been removed, but when I drove around to the portion of where I could see just a very small portion, I could still see the roof. So it looks like it was still there, but there's no way for me to access right now because the ground has completely been dug up. They're doing some underground work right there.
Did you say that it was the tenant who built
The
this?
tenant had built the accessory structure.
And are you talking to the tenant? Or
No,
are you
the property
speaking to
owner.
the property owner?
Yes, to the property
Is
owner.
the property owner local?
Yes.
So you can't really tell me what portion has been removed?
So the first half that you see where the door and the window is, that portion has been removed, but that far back, area is still there, and he moved it behind the fence. So right now it's in front of the rear fence, but now on this picture, it's in the back of the actual house, because on the picture on the left, it was in that space. But now he's moved it further behind the rear of the house.
Is it, so it's still, is there more than one violation? Is it just a setback violation? Or, I mean, obviously no building permit. But are there other violations also, Nikki? Or is it just that he?
I only cited him for the no permit. That was the only one that he was cited for.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So my recommendation would still be for him to obtain the permit or remove the structure.
Is your recommendation that he needs to obtain a building permit by the next meeting?
Yes.
Or
Within 30 days.
In the 30 days?
Yeah.
Till the next meeting?
Yes.
Could somebody tell us do you know the next meeting date?
I think it's April 27th?
April 24th.
24th, okay.
Okay. Okay, and at this time, are you recommending that you would not recommend any fine to accrue thereafter, after the 30 days?
Yes, because this has been going on, so, we can do the $250 per day.
Okay. Do you have anything else on that
And
matter?
that's it, and that concludes all the cases for today.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I will try to get the orders out this week because I'm gonna be out of town for a while, so
Okay.
I'll do my best to get those. for you.
Okay. All right, no problem. Thank you.
With that, I'll close the code enforcement hearing for March 27th.